Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining me, Jag Singh, for another dose of Positive Minds on the Sikh channel. Positive Minds is a program which I like to bring on inspirational and informative individuals who give us advice and tips on how we can better our lives and those people around us. Now, after the show, okay, don't go nowhere because I've got a great guest lined up for you. But after the show, you can download my book, which is Unbreakable. It's available on Amazon, my ebook. Unbreakable was a story about my upbringing in East London during the 1970s and talks about all the hate crime we faced during those times, those tough times, and how I got from there to here. Because that's Unbreakable, download that after the show, okay, on Amazon. And also, if you want to catch up with some of the previous Positive Minds shows, simply log on to my YouTube channel, Jag Singh. You can catch up on all the previous Positive Mind shows. Now, back to today's guest. I have a special guest with me today, and he started drawing, okay? He had a passion. I can only show, I always like to promote passion. He had a passion of drawing when he was 9 years old. Okay, and he grew on that passion and he worked hard on it and worked hard on it. And today with me, I have Jamie Sell. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us today on Positive Minds.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start from the top, okay? Let's not go all the way to the top. How did it all begin? How did your artist and illustrator career begin?
Well, aside from obviously loving drawing from, being about 3 years old, it really kind of kicked off when, as you mentioned, when I was about 9 years old, and I started watching The Simpsons a lot more, and then I loved the show so much, and then I just kept drawing the characters all the time, and I felt like I was quite good at it. So it just kind of escalated from there. I was just drawing more characters, and then I started drawing sort of my own versions of Simpsons characters, and yeah, it just kind of grew and grew. And I suppose now, even if you look at my artwork, you can see The Simpsons has been a big influence on my work today as well.
And why art? Why was it art that made you think that I want to get into art, I want to be a drawer? Why art?
I don't know really. I mean, I think it was kind of my way of being able to express myself in sort of a funny way. I quite like the attention that I got from people when they say, "Oh wow, that's really good. Look at that. Oh, I like the facial expressions and things like that." So yeah, that's kind of my where I get kind of my love of art from. I just don't really feel like my brain is wired academically either. So I've always felt more of a kind of creative spark in my brain. I think that is best expressed through illustrating. With my brother, he's the same, but he loves music. So we both kind of have this sort of thing where we're expressing ourselves creatively in different ways.
And Jamie, that's what this program is about. It's about people finding their passion. Like I just mentioned, your brother likes the music. That's his passion, and he's following his passion. And you got your passion of art, and you're following it. And I always encourage people to find that passion and build on it. And you've done exactly that. So well done, mate. What I wanted to say was, Jamie, that when we had a chat on the phone, you said to me you was a security guard on night shift.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it didn't feel great at the time. It wasn't a job I particularly liked doing because I was just kind of this scrawny 19, 20-year-old that was kind of guarding these big properties to make sure bad things or bad people don't break in and things like that. So it was kind of a bit intimidating in a way, but I kind of sort of, I feel bad for saying it, but I kind of used it to spend 12-hour shifts each night, kind of enhancing my drawing and kind of getting better and learning new skills such as building websites and learning about SEO, search engine optimization. So I was able to build myself a website and kind of provide that platform for me to finally get commissions. I'm kind of grateful to my then boss, who was more than happy for me to let me bring my laptop and drawing tablet and all those kinds of things. I was quite lucky.
And you know, you have to do what you have to do to make ends meet in this life,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean it. That does not mean that you can't follow your passion. So you saw a window of opportunity at your workplace during the
Yes.
12 hours, and you utilised it, and that's a main factor. That you utilised that time that you had to learn how to do the websites, how to do the drawing, and you kept at it. And now today you've got ToonJam, okay, which is which is out there, and it's doing some amazing stuff. And Jamie, how long have you been a artist now, illustrator? Roughly, how long's ToonJam been around now?
So I started ToonJam Studios in 2011 as a limited company. I'd actually been drawing, or taking commissions a few years before that. So I think my first ever commission was actually in 2006. Funny enough, I set up a stall at a boot fair with my dad, and I just put a load of cartoon portraits on these displays, and I had a price list for single portraits and things like that. And I was there all day, and no one was interested in having one, sadly for me. But then right at the end of the day, there was one family, just as we was packing up, that was sort of querying about it. They was like, "Oh yeah, what's all this then?" And they actually paid me to. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. They paid me to do them some cartoon portraits of their family, and that was my first commission. And perhaps
Wow.
had I not got that commission, who knows, what might have happened. My confidence might have been shot and I might have just given it up, or I don't know. But it's like, yeah, it's like it was meant to be.
And that brings me to the point of persistence. Okay, so you got
Yeah,
this stall, right? No one's bothered. No one's looking at your stuff, right? But you're still standing there with these pictures because you're persistent, right? And that something's going to
yeah,
happen. And right at the end, right, when you could have given up, Jamie, you could have packed up the stall and said, "I've had enough of this. I'm
yeah,
going home."
yeah.
But your persistence was, "No, I'm going to stay until the end," and you did, and you got a commission. Wow, how did you
Yeah.
feel, Jamie?
Well, I was absolutely elated when I got the commission because I could never believe that anybody would pay me to draw. Anyway, I mean, at that point, I knew I wanted to be like a cartoonist or an illustrator, but I didn't have the evidence to kind of tell me that I could do it, and that sort of proved it. I think in a way that I was actually good enough, because I mean, people were looking at the work and kind of you know. Enjoying it as they were walking past it, but no one was really interested in spending any money, because I suppose when you go to a boot fair, you kind of looking at picking up kind of bargains and things like that. But perhaps a boot fair wasn't, like, thinking back, the best place to advertise those services. But yeah, no, I just remember feeling overjoyed, because I mean, I was kind of ready to give up and go home a few hours before, because I was like, oh, no one's going to buy anything, kind of thing. And my dad, to be fair to him, was like, oh no, just kind of persevere, and you never know what might happen. And then literally right at the end, someone come along just as we were packing away. Is just you couldn't write it really.
So there you go, guys. Look, right, you've got Jamie Sell here from ToonJam Studios, right? He's got his own empire of cartoon. He's cartoons and an illustrator. He's doing some great stuff out there, and he's got so many lessons to teach us in this interview. And one that he just told us there is persistence. Okay, just when you think you're going to give up, just when you're about to give up, hang in there. Hang in there like Jamie did, because you never know. You might get that one person who's going to come across and say, "Do you know what? I like what you brought to the table. I'm interested." And Jamie, there's a motivational speaker called Les Brown, and he says, you have to be hungry for success. And you, with the work you're doing as a security guard, the drawings, you standing at that market store, you was hungry, man. And you know what? And you've made it through. And from that, I think, Jamie, you've gone from strength to strength, and I think things are going to keep rocketing upwards to you, because you're from those little things you've learned that I've got to keep going. I've got to keep finding different avenues. So, Jamie, tell us about all your services that you provide at ToonJam Studios.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, basically, it's my client is somebody who wants anything cartoon related, in any sort of digital medium. I mean, I would say my main services that I offer include sort of children's book illustrations. I seem to get more. It's funny actually, because I don't advertise children's book illustrations on my website. However, that takes up a bulk of my commissions. And character design, which is probably my favourite part of cartooning that I do, is designing characters and creating personalities. Also mascot design, which is similar to character design, but it's more for sort of branding purposes. So companies that are looking to have a face for their brand will typically use a mascot, which is where I come in. I also do comic strips. God,
you're doing the full shebang. You're doing the full shebang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's sort of. I mean, I do jobs sometimes which I didn't even realise you could use cartoons for. I think actually, yeah, that's quite a good idea. Of course, you could use cartoons for that. There's always fun projects to work on that. It's always interesting.
And Jamie, with all this work you've done, you got to the heights, and you had the best, you had the peak performance at the moment with your career. Did you get any support from anyone during this journey that you've taken on?
Yeah, I mean, I think I did get support from family members, particularly my mum and dad, who were very encouraging of the artwork I was doing, which is obviously amazing. That I didn't have anyone sort of spewing negative words into my ear saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never amount to anything." That kind of stuff. I was very lucky that my parents would always sort of finance me with like software and drawing tablets. Anything that I really wanted to kind of help me on my artistic journey, they would be more than happy to help. But at the same time, they weren't pushy. So if they weren't, if I went like a week without drawing or something like that, they wouldn't start nudging me and telling me, "Oh, you should be drawing and you should be doing this and you should be doing that." So it was a really nice balance with them, and for that I'm really grateful, because that's something I've been able to sort of push onto my I use the word push, but use on my own kids as well. Is that kind of nicely balanced parenting where you're not pushing them too hard, but at the same time you're just kind of gently encouraging them and giving them all the help they want from you.
So well put, and I salute your mum and dad for that. Give me their names, Jamie.
My dad is Steve Sale, and my mum is Pauline Bell, formerly Sale.
So there you go. Steve and Pauline, well done. Great work and great support. You're an example you're a role model for all the parents out there. If your children want to do something, you help them, you support them. So well done, and we all got to learn from that. We all got to learn from that. So from the market stall, Jamie. Sorry? God bless. Jamie, from the market stall, all right, to where you are today, tell me some of the amazing companies you've worked with.
So I got my first, I'd say, major client in 2012, which was Cadbury's. I was quite shocked when they come along. I mean, it was via an agency.
Cadbury's, you said, yeah?
Cadbury's, yeah. I'd done some cartoon characters based on celebrities for their Spots and Stripes Olympics campaign. So it's kind of a game you could play. So you buy their chocolate bars and you'd use the codes on them or something to go on their website and play this game that featured my cartoon artwork. I was very proud, and I was obviously.
How did that feel? How did you feel?
Oh yeah, no, it was. Again, it was just another one of those kind of pinch me moments where I felt like I'd made it at that point, And yeah, I think another one was the same year, or it might have been the year before, was when Hennessy Sports contacted me, and I designed the poster for a little known boxer called Tyson Fury, his match against Derek Chisora. I mean, he wasn't very well known at the time, but now he's one of the biggest boxing stars. So that was really cool to do that one as well. And I guess those clients kind of springboarded me a little bit more and just gave me that little bit more confidence, and I knew that I could work with these big clients and that it was possible. And since then I've worked with Amazon and Google, so two of the biggest companies in the world. So it's funny enough though, I have to say that my favourite clients tend to be the startups and the single person companies who just starting out and needing cartoon graphics. I just really enjoy that more sort of human interaction with them, whereas with kind of big corporations it just feels a little bit more kind of machine like if you know what I mean.
Yeah, as much as you want the big corporation work coming, obviously, towards yourself, because that makes you kind of peak performance. But I think you'd like the startups and the support because you can relate to them because you was there. Am I right,
Yeah,
Jamie? Yeah, you can relate to them. Knowing
absolutely.
that, I've been there. I want to help you out because I want to get help. And that is so nice of you, Jamie.
Yeah. It's I do. I think like you said, they're just it's a lot more relatable because I've kind of been there. Well, I am there. I'm not a big company or anything like that. It's just me. So it's really nice to work with kind of like-minded people. And I've actually made so many of my clients have kind of turned into friends over the years as well, which is just really, really nice. And it's one of my favourite things about what I do, ultimately. Whereas with the big companies, as great as they are to work with and as nice as it is to have them on your CV and everything, it's just not quite the same, if you know what I mean.
And another great value that you just exercised there was being humble. You were saying that you're not a big company, but you create this empire, ToonJam Studios, on your own 2 feet. You've
Yeah.
got up there, you've done the hard work, and only you know the nights you've spent drawing, working hard. There's a price to pay. There is a price to pay for success, but it feels good when you get to that end goal. So, talking about end goals, Jamie, if someone watching right now is thinking, I want to do what Jamie's done. I want to become an illustrator. I want to become a cartoonist. What would your advice be to them?
My advice would be don't copy someone else. Be influenced by them, even be heavily influenced by them, but don't copy someone else's work for a start. That's from a drawing perspective. From a business perspective, I would say, again, same sort of thing. Don't do what everyone else is doing. Kind of try and find your path in your own unique way, if that makes sense. So, I see a lot of artists on Instagram who are amazing artists, by the way, much better than I am, but they're all doing the same thing, and it's just I don't really get how you can stand out when there's just so many of them doing the same thing and going about getting work the same way through like freelance websites, which is I have nothing against, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm only saying that because I never done that myself. I kind of done it the hard. To me, that's the easy way of doing it. You just stick yourself on a freelance website and kind of build your portfolio from there. Whereas with me, I really sort of had to learn the hard graft of SEO and building websites and all that to get my name out there. Again, I don't want to kind of put down people who are on freelance websites because there is hard work to it. But my point is to kind of make your own platform rather than doing what everyone else is doing, basically.
And Jamie, you're right there because even if someone out there, despite what age they are, is a drawer or is learning a passion, it's also that factor where you've got to spend hours and hours and learn from people like yourself, learn from other artists, and there's so much available on YouTube now as well, If
Yes.
you don't mind me asking, Jamie, if you don't mind me asking, we've got 8 minutes left. Do you know what? This time I had enough. Jamie, what are your future plans for ToonJam?
So I never kind of went into cartooning to be a freelancer, basically, and that's kind of what I am doing now. I freelance for clients who want to pay me to do their work. However, ultimately, I would like to earn passive money. Who wouldn't? From doing my own illustrations. So that might be through tutorials. So I plan to use ToonJam, the company, to use that as a platform to create tutorials, cartoon tutorials, and just kind of give advice to aspiring artists who kind of want to go into the art world and earn commission from their art. And that's kind of where I see my own future in creating artwork. I think it wouldn't be doing freelancing forever, as much as I like doing it, but I feel like that's where my future is.
And Jamie, I've seen we had displayed some of your work earlier on. It's amazing, right? Your work is
Thank you.
amazing, and may you go from strength to strength. Very quickly, Jamie, I'm going to just say about Grandma Moses. Okay, right, everyone out there, Google Grandma Moses, right? Now this lady, right? She wanted to become an artist, but many years ago, Grandma Moses and her husband said to her, "No, you can't become an artist. A woman's job is in the kitchen. You cook, blah 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 blah." When he passed away, she done some painting, some drawing. She lived a passion, right? So she held on to it all these years, and she held on to a passion, and she started drawing these pictures. And those pictures today sold for millions and millions. And she did this at the age of 78.
That's crazy.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to make with this story is that it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how old you are, you can start any age. It doesn't matter as long as you've got that passion. And we just got to follow it like Jamie has. Jamie has followed his passion all the way through. Listen, Jamie, I don't get enough time for this show. We could go on talking forever, man. But listen, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming on Positive Minds today and sharing your amazing inspiration, Jamie.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you, Jag. Thank you.
And you know what? May you go from strength to strength, my friend. I'll be in touch with you soon. I'll have you back on Positive Minds because you've been great for the audience out there. So there you have it, guys. Thank you, Jamie. So there you have it, guys. Jamie Sell from ToonJam. Okay, started at a market stall, didn't have a clue if anyone was going to buy his work, but he was persistent, he was strong, and he had willpower. And he kept at it, and he's going to go from strength to strength. So what can we learn from Jamie, guys? We can learn from Jamie that if you have a passion, just start working on it. It's find any window of opportunity you can to make that passion become a reality, and you're going to have to spend hours and hours at your craft until you become a master. So keep that in mind and keep moving forward. And listen, guys, all I've got to say is thank you so much for joining me, Jag Singh, on Positive Minds today, and keep smiling and keep moving forward. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.